Generally speaking, when a manufacturer releases a new sled, you mostly only get to see it through marketing photos and video and never really get to ride it until the next season, or maybe through a demo ride that's controlled by the manufacturer. However, that definitely was not the case for the all-new 2020.5 Skidoo Summit 850 Turbo, and today we'll be talking about why it's the most important sled of 2020. Now, while this isn't the first ever factory turbo snowmobile to ever hit the market, it is the first factory two-stroke turbo to ever hit the market. It comes with factory backing, and that's a pretty great achievement. Back in the day, meaning more than 10 or 15 years ago, turbo snowmobiles were very few and far between. And this was because the cost to either buy or build your own kit was very expensive, and most of the time, the engines and supporting drivetrain couldn't handle the extra power.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's all right.
And let's be honest, most of them never really ran right anyway. Then in 2004, Arctic Cat was actually the first manufacturer to slap a turbo on their sleds in the form of the T660 Turbo. And for the most part, these were trail or even touring four-stroke models that were mostly uninteresting. Fast forward to modern times, and the aftermarket world has essentially been flooded with plenty of kits and options to turn an already very capable two-stroke snowmobile into a fire-breathing, powder-crushing, mountain-taming machine. And now today, you can finally walk into a showroom and buy a new turbo snowmobile that has the same power at sea level as it does at 10,000 feet, and even comes with a warranty. Now, the reason I say the new 850 Turbo is the most important sled of 2020 is because of innovation and the progression of our sport. Through the years, the aftermarket world and sled manufacturers seem to work in unison. And what I mean by that is that both are always looking for ways to improve snowmobiles and progress our sport in every aspect possible. So it certainly came as a surprise when on January 13th, 2020, Skidoo announced the release and immediate sale of their new Summit 850 Turbo. It comes with 165 horsepower from the factory, and I was curious as to why they would limit it to essentially the same horsepower as the Polaris Patriot 850. It's really for only one reason: to keep the power delivery the same at any elevation. And this is through the use of an electronically controlled wastegate that can ramp up the boost as the sled increases in altitude up to 40 extra horsepower. Now, from what I've been told, the max boost pressure it makes is around 4 psi. Now, whether that's true or not, it doesn't really matter, because as Skidoo's marketing campaign has been about pushing the game-changing 850 Turbo, they're more or less setting a new standard for the industry as a whole, and the 850 Turbo really is a game changer. Now, it goes without saying that, like anything in most industries, like snowmobiling, that if you're not moving forward, you're moving backward. Odd analogy, I know, but my point is that if a company is not innovating and improving their products, they could very well be left behind. Such as with many of the companies that we've seen in the news and the headlines closing over the past few years that have been around for literal decades. So what does this mean for the sledding industry? It means the new Skidoo Summit 850 Turbo could very well set a new precedent for the industry and push other sled manufacturers to possibly develop their own two-stroke turbo factory sleds. Whether that actually happens or not, we'll just have to wait and see. Because as of this video, Polaris has not yet announced their 2021 lineup, but from past experience, it normally takes 1 to 2 seasons for manufacturers to catch up to each other. Now, Arctic Cat did release their 2021 lineup not too long ago, but nothing really all that new was announced other than the mid-sized Blast series. One huge innovation we have been seeing recently is the all-electric snowmobile from a company called Taiga. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly, but this is the kind of innovation that really drives industries to develop new things. And while a majority of its fossil fuel burning counterparts may be a little bit louder and can't quite drive underwater, it's certainly something that continues to push the envelope. Hopefully by now I haven't completely bored you to death by this point in the video, so I'll get down to the nitty-gritty specs. So the new 2020 Skidoo Summit 850 Turbo starts at a pocket-burning $18,099. And while that may sound like a lot, and you could essentially buy a brand new mid-size sedan for the same price, that's been the general direction prices have gone the past few years for sleds. Yes, you could find yourself a leftover or used Summit 850 that's naturally aspirated, slap a turbo on it, and make more power, but you wouldn't have the factory backing and warranty that you would if you had just bought the turbo model in the first place. Speaking of power, like I've already mentioned, the 850 turbo comes factory at 165 horsepower, and it keeps that same power level at all elevations. Now, do I think we'll see a higher horsepower model in future iterations? I would think so, but you never know. It could tank, and we could never see a factory turbo two-stroke snowmobile ever again. Now, as far as the rest of the sled, it comes with Kashima-coated KYB shocks, shorty tunnel, a one-piece lightweight hood, shot start, and adjustable limiter straps, with the latter two being the two upgrades I really wish I had on my Axis. The only real downsides I see with the sled so far from my research is the basic shocks not being a reservoir shock package, similar to what the free rides come with, the color combo only coming in one choice, and of course the price, but that's really nitpicking. So at this point, having read so much about the new 850 turbo, seeing all the videos and doing all the research I've done, does it make me want to buy one? No. I really have no plans to buy the new 850 turbo or any Skidoo for that matter. And the reason for that is I've ridden friends' Skidoo sleds before, but I've never really felt all that comfortable on any Skidoo platforms that I've ridden so far. Polaris has always made chassis that I've been most at home and comfortable with, and while this doesn't mean that I have no plans to actually ride a new 850 turbo, such as if the opportunity presents itself to demo one or ride a friend's in the backcountry, you can bet I'll definitely get it on video because it'll probably be pretty entertaining. To conclude, I want to ask you this question. Do you think the new Skidoo Summit 850 Turbo truly is a game changer, as Skidoo is putting it? My opinion? Only time will tell. But for now, I think this just made this season a whole lot more interesting. All right, I want to thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Let me know if you're ordering the new 850 Turbo or if you're sticking with your Polaris like me. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell so you know when I upload my next video, and we'll see you next time. Thanks.